Thanks for coming today, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who put this amazing event together. I think it's our second year. And so today I'm going to read from my novel draft, The Origin of Love. It tells the story of 35-year-old Lavinia and her pursuit for love in search of her missing twin. She discovers that while in utero, she had a twin that didn't separate. Lavinia kept developing at the expense of her twin, who eventually stopped evolving. After her twin removal surgery, she feels guilty that her body killed her twin so that she could survive. Excuse me. She feels unexplainable sadness and guilt, only half alive, as if something is missing inside her. She realizes the same feeling she's felt her entire life. She missed her twin even before she knew she had one. As the first year of the millennium approaches, at 11:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve, Lavinia and Ryder collide. Ryder is 21 years old. What should have been a one-night stand turns into an unlikely love affair spanning years. Lavinia finds her missing twin in him. Their love story includes Lavinia's daughters from her two prior marriages, Lily and Cleo. It's inspired by actual events. Chapter 44, Excision Redux. Ryder and Lavinia are sitting on the front porch of their Seattle home. She's trying to explain what the problem is, how he needs to change his behavior and not just think of himself. What's missing here, Lavinia says, is the responsibility. There you go, bringing up that evil word again, Ryder says. But it's what I need, what we need from you, she says. Okay, try accountability then, she says. Why do you have to be so technical, he says. That's what my love is to you, technical? What do you know? A kid of 26 going on 27? You know nothing about functional life and love, she says. I know I don't, he says. So why do I try to prove something beyond your understanding, she says. I don't know, he said. He's telling her this now as she sits across from him on the front stoop of their new home. They breathe in the fresh air, but what fills their lungs is the pollution of what this is and isn't. Cars roar up and down the main thruway, adjacent to their street. It's rush hour, and especially loud tonight, stressing Lavinia out. Pretend it's ocean waves, tiding in and out, Ryder says. I wish I could have your imagination, she says, but she loves the ocean too much. Don't ask me to do this, she says. The ocean is the base of my being, her solace, her peace. She can't pretend. It's the middle of the night, and Ryder's stumbling through the bedroom door after getting off his shift at the latest restaurant where he's cooking. Drunk again, refusing to let Lavinia sleep. She has to be up early for work, and this has been going on for 2 months straight. She can't take any more. He ignores her pleas to stop. She locks herself in the downstairs bathroom, hoping he'll eventually pass out. Instead, he breaks the lock off the door and comes after her. He's stronger than she and a foot taller. He lets her pass only to grab her with his long, muscular arms she loves so. He thrusts her up against the kitchen sink, the white porcelain farmer's sink she also loves. She thinks about Lily and Cleo, men and violence. She thinks about taking control because this is the third time a man she's married had gotten violent with her. Let me the fuck go, she says. I can't take this anymore. Ryder quietly laughs in her ear, then releases her hands and steps back. Lavinia's lost her head. They both have. A force has taken them over. They freeze and both know it's time for him to go. Though it will take a phone call to him the next day from her father, 3,000 miles away, threatening to get on the next plane with Lavinia's 6 brothers to come kick Ryder's ass, before he finally picks up his packed things lying in front of the television set where he's been watching The Simpsons in defiance, acting like his shoe size, and heads to the car. Cleo follows. Lavinia drives them to Ryder's friend's apartment. He slides open the side door, reaches back in, grabs his things and says, "Bye, Cleo. Be good for your mom." Cleo starts to bawl her eyes out. Lavinia reaches over to hug her, holding back her own tears. "It's going to be okay, hon," she says. "We're going to be okay." "But what if I never see him again?" Cleo wails. Lavinia puts the car in reverse, her heart breaking for two. She can't believe she let her daughter become attached to Ryder, allowing her to love him too. Feeling such heartache at such a young age. Another dangerous moment, she thinks. In May 2005, rush hour traffic on I-5 looks ominous. A 10-mile commute has become 2 hours of Lavinia cursing and her 9-year-old daughter, Cleo, complaining in the back seat. Back in the early 90s, during the grunge era, when Lavinia first moved here from South Carolina, Seattle was a sleepy old northwest town, seemingly built by a pack of drunken loggers on acid. Several streets run for miles through the city, but change names 5 times before you notice and have to turn around to get back to the first incarnation. Streets come to an abrupt end when you hit I-5 or a body of water and then start up again with the same name on the other side. It's a treacherous path making your way west to east. Traveling north and south will fill the sanest person with road rage. It took her 1.5 years to first learn how to navigate the city streets. 10 years later, she's still finding herself lost. There are turning points in relationships, points of loving kindness and strength, pulling couples together, points of hate and weakness, pushing couples apart. Lavinia looks back and all she sees are the points of no return, a roadmap to the end of their relationship. Were they ever a family? Yes, this she knows. There was nothing like the best times they spent together, but there is too much distance now. Too much had been said. Too much has happened, a point of no return. No working through it this time, but the pull is still there, along with the push. This is too hard, she thinks. She can't do it. She can't not do it. Think of your daughters, Lavinia says aloud to herself. Ryder's been gone a week now. Lavinia's been reading The Art of Living, Vipassana meditation, hoping to find some place, some peace apart from him, a way to carry on without his presence. Attachment is her downfall. She can't seem to let go. He resists attachment, doesn't want it, but he does. He wants her love. That's attachment, and it makes him angry. He takes it out on her. He hates her for the power she holds to love him, to make him love her. He even accuses her of being a witch, of possessing him, controlling his mind, his desire, his love. She felt the same hold coming from him and his love for her, but it's not complete. Tonight, Lavinia has such a vivid, meaningful dream. She wakes up and decides she has to tell Ryder in person. On the way to camp, 2 hours away, her mind is racing with thoughts of what she has to tell him before he leaves for Canada. She'll tell him he has her heart. He has her heart, soul, and her entire being. She is in as much pain as he is. She'll beg him to please see her before he goes. When Lavinia pulls up to where he's staying, she sees him in the yard playing tetherball. He looks up, sees Lavinia pull up, and shakes his head. "What are you doing here?" he says. "I had a dream last night that blew my mind, and I had to tell you." "Come on," he said, "let's go for a walk." Ryder asks Lavinia to stay the night. She does. I was a dangerous mother. There were moments when I was dangerous. Only moments, but dangerous nonetheless. Dangerous moments are all it takes to change everything forever. Moments can be dangerous enough to cause death, or at the very least, dismemberment. I've had my heart broken, and I've broken hearts in dangerous moments. A broken heart is a form of dismemberment. It only takes an instant, my mother always says. Her motherly advice to me now that I too am a mother. But even before that, she was always saying, it only takes an instant. And you're always so impulsive. She was always saying that to me as well. And this too made me dangerous. Impulsive and dangerous. It's been 6 months since Lavinia and Ryder finally parted ways. Lavinia decides to take Lily and Cleo to Hornby Island during spring break. She doesn't want them to lose the good things that came from loving him. They take the Tsawwassen Ferry to Swartz Bay, Victoria, and drive north on Vancouver Island, where they stop at the Old Country Market and watch the miniature goats run and play on the grass roof. Lavinia buys 2 loaves of Cleo and Lily's favorite brown bread. At Buckley Bay, they take the short ferry ride to Denman Island, then drive across the island to catch the ferry to Hornby. They time it just right so they don't miss the last ferry like they did with Ryder the last time, when the girls had to sleep in the car at the dock, and they covered her daughters in all of their unpacked clothes to keep warm. Lavinia and Ryder sat outside on the rocks, downed the bottle of wine they had packed in the trunk. They covered themselves in the teeny thin silver emergency blanket she pulled out of the first aid kit. Across the water, a walrus barked all night long. A weasel poked his head up to see what the hell was going on. When they get to Purple Feet, the house they stayed in with Ryder so many times before, nothing had changed. The swing outside the front door hangs from the tall evergreen. The island, inlaid with the owner's handmade tiles, juts out into the foyer. The long velvet green couch sits in the center of the living room in front of the wood stove. The orange curtain covers the entrance to the master bedroom on the top level. Lavinia stands looking at the front door and remembers how sexy Ryder looked that one morning as he chopped wood with an axe, barefoot, while Cleo swung in the swing to the left. After settling in, she, Lily, and Cleo stroll down the gravel and dirt road to Grassy Point, watch the cool Salish Sea lap on the shore, and climb on the gigantic driftwood. The next day, they wander along the path, through Douglas Firs to Helliwell Bluffs, hike the high cliffs, and watch bald eagles soar overhead. They continue on through meadows to where Ryder showed them where they would find seals and sea lions resting on the rocks over Georgia Strait. On the way back to the house, Lily and Cleo score free finds at the recycling depot. Remember when Ryder put on his neon blue spandex bodysuit he got from here and did those funny yoga poses? Lily says. Cleo laughs. Lavinia remembers the picture she took of him in the bodysuit, with her daughters and friends looking on, and thinks how happy they all were in that moment. They eat energy balls from the co-op. Lavinia buys fresh milk, eggs, and cheese at Olson Farm. Lily and Cleo pet and talk to the goats. At night, they build a fire in the wood stove, watch Ewan McGregor's motorcycling travel documentary, Long Way Round, on the VCR, and put old puzzles together on the table by the window, just as they always had with Ryder. Remember Ryder always made the fire so big, flames would shoot out the chimney, said Lily. Then you'd get mad, Mom, Cleo says. I remember, says Lavinia.